cars starting to, with some pieces hanging off them and a lot of rubbing going on, and things are, that's when little pieces start falling off, and you definitely want to get it picked up. My hat's off to the track to catch those things and get them picked up, because
159 laps complete. If you're in the lead lap at this point, you're 160 laps into this thing. You're looking at the scoreboard and figuring out that you're only halfway home.
Yeah.
Is it tougher, Eddie, when you got 12 caution flags, the stopping and starting? Would you rather have, those long 50 and 60 lap runs under green?
Oh, absolutely. The secret to going fast and racing is being smooth and setting a rhythm. And your rhythm gets interrupted in a hurry with a caution flag. So from a racer standpoint, if your car's handling good and you got the rhythm, you don't like to see them.
52 car, Tammy Jo Kirk, the defending champion, just got a black flag for leaking some fluids. And of course, she was involved in a couple of the accidents this afternoon. So we're going to try to see if we can get another report down in the pits. Let's go to Doug Rice. Sounds like we're having some problems with Doug's mic right there. We'll try to get back to Doug in just a minute, as he was talking to Jack Cook there. We couldn't hear you, Doug. We'll try to get back to you in a minute. Meanwhile, the green flag is back out, and the Snowball Derby back underway, and Jeff Purvis is right there in the lead spot. Ricky Brooks, who's a lap car, sits in the second spot. In between there, Freddie Query and Rich Bickle trying to catch back up in the second and third spot. You heard a few minutes ago talking about Jody Ridley and how well that car had run. Ridley's one of those guys that you got to be around at the finish, and Jody knows what that's all about, because he lives off this money that he races for, and you can bet that it's a long time between now and the start of next season, right, Eddie?
He's moved himself all the way to fifth.
We've turned one around.
We got a bad one.
We got ourselves another major incident here on the front stretch. We had just gotten the green flag back again, and that appears to be Tammy Jo Kirk's car, the 52 car. And look at this, Jamie James just made his first Snowball Derby. The world famous and world renowned Yamaha pilot is crawling out of the car for all the great motorcycle racing that Jamie's done over the years. Tough break for Jamie, who's having problems getting his leg back out of the door, and they're helping him back over to the wall. Jamie James took a ferocious hit here. Tammy Jo Kirk also involved. We'll tend to that and get back here to Five Flags Speedway. But first, we'll take this break, sort it all out. Back with more right after this.
It's becoming one of the biggest races in the Southeast that attracts superstars in racing for a final blowout for the year. Red Farmer has been here every year.
I don't know, when I'm going to really quit.
But how did it all begin? The racetrack had a strange beginning as our father and son built it.
They had some construction equipment, and they'd get out and they would build a track with the dirt. And his son would take this old car he had, and he would go out there and he would run around just as fast as he could, and wherever he slid off the top of the track, that's where they would put some more banking in it.
The ghosts of former drivers are considered the legends that drove this track. It was truly a family affair, as the family car usually had its tires removed to put them on the race cars.
They had their regular old street cars, and they just had old street tires or truck tires they would put on the cars.
The very first race never really happened because nearly all the cars in it crashed.
And after they practiced, it broke up, the tar did, and on the first lap there was so much dust on the track until they piled about 18 of them up in a pile and coming out of turn 4.
Things look a lot different today.
Welcome back to Five Flags Speedway, everybody. Alongside Eddie Sharp, I'm Pat Patterson. Another major back at Five Flags Speedway. It's the 28th annual Snowball Derby, and right now we're wadding them up. And we've been doing that for about the last 13 caution flags here. It's been an expensive afternoon for a whole lot of race car drivers. What you're watching right now is the aftermath of Tammy Jo Kirk, the defending champion. getting tangled up with Jamie James, who was running his very first Snowball Derby, and a real tough break for Jamie, getting caught up in this thing. And we're going to take a look at the replay right now and try to sort out exactly how this incident occurred. You can see right now we got smoke coming out of, it appears to be, hey, you really can't see, can you, Eddie? I want to say it's Jamie James's car, but no, here's Jamie coming into the picture, and he's spun to avoid what has happened in front of him. Looks like maybe, I want to say Jimmy Cope.
Well, Jimmy's one of them, and then
the 12 car, Steve Christian.
Former leader, and Jamie looked like just a victim. He was trying to avoid it.
Yeah, he spun, and then I am assuming that Tammy Joe got caught up in Jamie trying to catch his, but obviously a tough afternoon for Jamie James.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Doug's got something for us.
Hey, thanks a lot, Eddie, and you're right, they have been wadding him up, and if my math is right, we're just a scotch over halfway through the Snowball Derby here, so we got a lot more left. A couple of contenders that are by the wayside. He started 39th. He had high hopes out of Daytona Beach. Jack Cook. Jack, finally, what put you out?
Well, we started way back in the back, had a rough time qualifying, and got in about 8th position, got ready to start racing, and got bundled up in a wreck down in turn 1 and 2.
So no Cinderella story for Jack Cook this afternoon in the Snowball Derby. Last year's Cinderella, well, the Ruby Slipper's not fitting this year. Mark Allen tracked down Tammy Jo Kirk. Tammy Jo last year was the victory lane in Champaign. This year, pretty bittersweet. What happened?
I tell you what, you know, we had a good car out there, and we was just trying to bide time, and there's so many cars going every which way and trying to win this race, I reckon, right now. And we tried our best. They spun out, and I seen the spin and all, but, I went low. There's a car, and I hit him real hard and messed the race car up, so I guess we'll be out. Maybe we'll have to come back next year and do it.
So Tammy Jo Kirk will not repeat as a winner of the Snowball Derby. She is out of it here this afternoon. There's only been one repeat winner, and that's Rich Bickle, and he's got an opportunity to pick up his 3rd win here a little bit later on, but we've got about, 150-some laps left to go here to Snowball Derby. Let's go back up to Pat and Eddie.
Thanks, Doug. I'm really kind of surprised, Eddie, that we've had this many cautions. I think you and I both, and we had a little sideline wager going there at 7 or 8, maybe being the total. But to be this far into this thing and really be working the 12th and 13th, or I'm about to lose count of how many cautions there's been, you surprised?
Yeah, I'm real surprised. It may be the racetrack. It may be the tires are going away and the guys are just trying to hang on, and when you get a loose race car and everybody's slipping and sliding, things are going to happen, and maybe it just happened a little more than we thought.
Well, we're at that point with about 170 or so laps that there are some guys riding around out there with, some very worn tires. So certainly, the situation that you just described is inevitable, maybe for some people. Jeff Purvis, and you look at the crowd, and I'll tell you, folks, it's a great crowd here at Terry Spears' Five Flag Speedways, and they're seeing a show. Certainly, they're seeing a slam fest in terms of the amount of equipment that we're tearing up. But Purvis, Query, Bickle, these guys have managed to stay out of the melees this afternoon, and running up front has a lot of bonuses, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's where you want to be without the shadow. I got to give a call again there. We said we had a bet we could pick one change before the day was over with less than 100 to go, right?
Yeah.
And Jody Ridley.
You're starting to think about yours, huh?
I'm starting to think about Jody.
It's a little early to pick them. My bet right now is that if we go another 70 or 80 laps and look at Purvis,